Identity shifts, supersize your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's talk about this today. Identity, and we'll sprinkle in a little ego just for the fun of it, and the impact it has on our organization's mental health and well-being, and on our organization's ability to grow and supersize. Now, our identity is, how do we see ourselves? It's the lens through which we make all of our decisions, what we will and will not even see as possible for our organization, and that's why it's so critical and important that we consider this. We also want to, when appropriate, make an identity shift, meaning choose the identity, and an identity shift is just consciously choosing the identity that we have and how we want to show up in the world. It aligns with our goals, our objectives, our core values, our purpose, our mission, our vision, etc. for our business. And if it doesn't, and sometimes we fall into identities because ego takes over or for some other reason, that get a little bit off kilter between who we are and who we want to be as an organization. Sometimes the environment, think COVID, how many businesses had to change and really rethink who they were. And identity shifts happen when, well, certain things trigger them. Life changes, business changes, environmental changes, COVID pandemics, legal changes, rule changes, regulation changes. All of those things can mean we have to reevaluate who we are and how we show up in the industry and in the world and for the people that we're here to serve. An identity shift is critical because it allows us to rewrite old beliefs and choose who we want to be and how we want to show up in the world. To me, it's kind of like thinking about your branding for your business. It has to align with and speak to the people that you're here to serve, or they're not going to see you, they're not going to hear you. And the same is true of our identity. So how do we go about making an identity shift? And then I'll share somebody's story about what they did and how they did it, and the impact it had on their business, as well as we'll talk about the ego and how do we master our ego, because our ego tries to keep us safe. Our ego, we always think we're doing the right thing, right? But sometimes we get a little too egotistical and our ego takes over and will cause us to make decisions and choices for our business that maybe don't resonate with others or with the people that we're here to serve because our ego takes over. I think we see this a lot nowadays when businesses get involved in political things that really don't have anything to do with their customers or their customer base, but they'll take a stand on it and then they end up alienating, usually it's about half of their customers. And that's nothing that really, to me, in my opinion, belongs in business. If you want to supersize and grow your business and you're not a political entity to begin with, just stay out of it, right? It doesn't matter. It's like sexual orientation and religion. Everybody gets to believe what they want to believe, and you get to believe what you want to believe, but you don't have to try to push your beliefs on other people. That's ego doing that. So how do we go about making an identity shift? If we figure out that how we're showing up in the world or how people are seeing us isn't exactly how we want to show up as a business, what are we going to do about it? Well, number one, we're going to identify and look at our current identity. What's going on with our current identity, right? We're going to ask ourselves some questions like, who do we believe that we are? And then go out and do a little research. Read some comments. Read some reviews of your organization and see what people really think of you, and read them with an open mind and open heart and really see what people are saying about you. Because even if you don't agree with it, and we all get haters, I get it, but really say, well, what is the kernel of truth in this? Guess what? Sometimes it just isn't a kernel of truth in it. Sometimes somebody's just having a bad day and they want to lash out irrationally at somebody, and you just happen to be the one that they caught. What labels do we as an organization align to ourselves? Do we think we are the market leader in our industry? Do we label ourselves as the best at customer service, the best at anything? How do we see ourselves? How do we label ourselves? And are those labels in alignment with how we want to show up and serve our customers, how we want to show up in our industry, how we want to show up in the world? Do they align with our values and our goals as an organization? And if not, boom, definitely time for an identity shift. Step two, look at our limiting beliefs. We've done this before, we'll do it again. But where and what are we seeing show up in our culture and in our business and in our practices and in our language that isn't necessarily aligned with who we really are? We want to address those and remove those as quickly as possible as well, which is part of the identity shift. third, visualize our future business, supersize business success, right? Visualization is such a powerful tool. We'll use it again a lot this year because it's so powerful and because it works. We like to do things that work, right? Improve our effectiveness and our efficiency and our ability to get what we want faster. Then we're going to, after we get clear on this, we're going to take identity aligned action, right? We're going to see ourselves as a healthy, mentally healthy in this case, organization, and we're going to take steps and adopt practices and behaviors that align with that. And then finally, we are going to practice self-compassion because this, like any other change in our organization, takes time. We're probably not going to get it 100% right the first time we take an action. So what are we going to do? We're going to reevaluate. We're going to see what we got for results. We're going to go back and we're going to take another action or do the same action again until we get the results that we're looking for. And we're going to be kind to ourselves about it. We're going to celebrate the progress along the way and moving toward what it is that we want. We're not going to beat ourselves up because we haven't done it yet or already. Let's make a couple of statements about ego and about our ego. I found that the way to balance ego and to keep our ego in check is to balance confidence and humility, right? Being humble is a blessing, and it's also a necessity to keep our egos in check. If we detach from external approval, if we separate ourselves from external validation, and we make sure that we're behaving in alignment with our organization's core values and objectives and visions and all the cool mission statements and things that we do, if we stay adaptable, flexible, and identify and evolve at different stages of development and growth, if we cultivate humility, meaning we recognize an identity is a journey and it's just not a fixed state and that we're going to change over time. How many of us don't change over time? I don't know about you, but I'm very different than I was as a 10-year-old or a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old or even a 50-year-old. And I will continue to grow and evolve and hopefully be moving toward being a better version of myself, because that's what our life is all about. That's what my purpose is to be the best possible version of myself. All right, if I can help you in any way on this, I'd love to know if you've ever done an identity shift for your business, if you've ever consciously sat down and said, okay, gang, this is how the world sees us. This is not who we see ourselves as. How are we going to create and put out into the world the identity as we authentically are and who we want to be and how we want to show up for the people that we're here to serve? All right, have an awesome day. If I can help in any way, ask. Otherwise, I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.